Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Wright Experience. This is episode number 85, and I'm your host, Dr. William T. Wright Jr. It's a pleasure to be able to bring to you a gentleman that I consider to be one of my mentors. He's one of the people that gave me my first start in education as about a 20-year-old young man who was working in manufacturing, had done a little radio broadcasting, and I got my feet wet at his school as a substitute teacher. My guest tonight is retired educator and board member, Mr. Claude Cooper. Mr. Claude Cooper spent the majority of his career working as an educator in the Halifax County School system of North Carolina. He is a graduate of Gatesville Central High School, which he graduated in 1965. He is also a graduate of Shaw University. He graduated there in 1969 with a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics. He is a graduate also of East Carolina University, where he received his Master's of Education and Administration in 1987. He worked in Halifax County Schools at several of their schools. He started out as a teacher at M. Borden High School, as a math teacher and boys basketball coach. I almost called it N. Borden Elementary, but it was N. Borden High School at that time. Enfield High School, he was a math teacher and boys and girls basketball coach from 1970 until 1977. He was an assistant principal and boys and girls basketball coach at Enfield High School from 1977 to 1981. He was an assistant principal and boys and girls basketball coach at Southeast Halifax High School from 1982 to 1987. And then where I met him, he was the principal of Enfield Middle School, same building, just a middle school by that time, 1988 to 1994. He was the principal of Everett's Elementary School from 1994 to 2000, and the principal of William R. Davie Middle School from 2009 until his retirement from public schools in 2009. He has been the Roanoke River Basketball Coach of the Year 13 times. He's been the Roanoke River Conference Track Coach of the Year 1 time. He was a Halifax County Principal of the Year 4 times, Halifax County Principal of the Year runner-up 3 times, and he served on the Halifax County Board of Education for 8 years, during which he has been the Board of Education Vice Chair, 2015-2016 school year, and he served as the Halifax County Board of Education Chairman, 2016-2017 school year, 2017-2018 school year, and 2018-2019 school year. Mr. Cooper was also inducted into the Halifax County Sports Hall of Fame in the year 2019. He's a member of the Lebanon Baptist Church in Halifax, North Carolina, and he serves there as a trustee, a Sunday school superintendent, and a Sunday school teacher. His family, Mrs. Linda Anderson Cooper, is his wife, and she is a retired Halifax County Schools employee. She worked at Pittman School. He has children. Ms. Linda Anderson, that's his wife. Lydia Smallwood is his daughter. Corey Cooper is his son. And Erica Albright is Mr. Cooper's daughter. He has 4 grandchildren, 3 of whom are in college currently: Kaylin, Cameron, and Kennedy. And then there is 13-year-old Christian, who is beginning his career, I understand, as a ice hockey athlete. So that's some exciting stuff, I know. And Mr. Cooper's motto, which I heard many, many times as I was cutting my teeth, so to speak, as a substitute teacher in the halls of Enfield Middle School, his motto is "better because I want to be." And at this time, I'd like to bring to the Wright Experience, Mr. Claude Cooper. Welcome to the Wright Experience, sir.
Good afternoon, Dr. Wright. It's an honor and pleasure and privilege just to be a part of the Wright Experience.
Well, I appreciate that, sir, and the pleasure is all mine. I just thank you for all of the times that you helped me get my feet wet. I didn't know that I was going to have a career in education. I just thought I was earning a little money for the weekends at the time that I hung out with you in your school. But thanks to your leadership, it certainly helped point me in the right direction to get to this career that I'm enjoying so much now. So thank you for that.
You are welcome.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wright, as I say to you and I say to your audience, it is an honor and a privilege just to talk about education.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to be very brief because I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about why I do what I do. However, it is for children. All of my life, I'm an old man now. I won't dare tell the audience my age, but all my life, I just wanted to be a teacher. We didn't have all the electronics that we have now. So you couldn't say I want to be in the NBA and all that kind of stuff. You didn't even get an NBA game maybe once every month or whatever on TV. But I tell you, when I grew up, who influenced me more than anything were my teachers, my high school principal, my high school coaches, my teachers. In fact, one of my teachers, Mr. Eugene Fields, is why I majored in math in college. I thought he was the best that there was. When I became a math teacher myself, I emulated everything that he used to do to us. Now, I say that to build Enfield. I came to Enfield. My first day there, they gave me my key to my classroom. I went looking for it, walking down the hall, and find out you have to go out this back door there because my classroom was a trailer back there. I went like, whoa. But I was glad, though, because it was mine. Later on during the day, they took me over to the gym because that was part of what got me here, to be the basketball coach. Man, I walked in, and there was a thing that blew my mind. Dr. Wright, the first thing I saw when I walked into that gym was there was no bleachers. That's the
Oh,
first thing. And so for every basketball game, we had to load up 400 chairs and stack them and set them up in the gym. That's what I did with my sixth period class. But also the big thing was they were glass, there were wooden backboards in that gym.
oh,
That
wow.
was a shock for me. They were wooden backboards. You know, I'm from Gates County, but maybe luck upon it. You know, we had a new gym. We had everything that the colleges had. But I said that really grew into me when you said better because I want to be.
Yes, sir.
I wanted pride instilled there. So later on, I became a principal. I did principal at 3 different schools, and every school that I went to work as a principal, I wanted those children to have the very, very best. Among those things is when I went to Enfield High School, the first year of integration, which was 1971. I couldn't believe that. They didn't have bleachers in the gym, but what I found was that they had to take the bleachers off the football field and bring them into the gym for basketball season. I went, whoa, we didn't have a locker room there. You had to go to a classroom to change. These are things that even as a coach and as a principal, I saw to it that they were changed.
Right.
I got involved in everything you can possibly think of. I'm an advocate. I'm sure you remember or know of Dr. Ron Edmonds,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wright.
Yes,
He
sir.
has philosophies. And I think the one I use at everything we can, whenever, wherever we choose effectively teach all children whose schooling is of interest to us. We already know more than enough to do that. But whether or not we do it must depend on how you feel about the fact we haven't so far. I'm a math major, and I used to look at stats and wonder how in poor Eastern North Carolina or rural communities, your test scores were low, your fundings was low. You had all these things that you wanted to do, but you had to do a lot of it yourself. I
Mhm.
got involved in the PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention Support. I have presented all over the state of North Carolina. But interdisciplinary teaching and teaming, we became a part to the part that where I had people from all over. The governor of North Carolina one time landed on the football field at Enfield Middle School when I was a principal to come in and look at some of the strategies and techniques that we use. Now, I took that to Everett's school in Roanoke Rapids, tried to do the same kinds of things, instill pride. I'm an electronics nut. I had wired it up at Enfield Middle School, which was very old, but we could do morning announcements live on TV. I could bring students up there. So we did and wired and did Everett just like that. The same thing we did to William R. David Middle School to add pride to that. Well, I took my PBIS when I retired. So, well, what can you do with that? If I could turn the clock back, Dr. Wright, I'd go right back again and do the same 53 years all over again. I wanted to be an educator. So what did we do with that? I look at the number of people who have been influenced through what we've tried to do with our Board of Education, particularly after I became the chairman of the board, which I was the chair for 3 years. Talk to people, talk to the county commissioner. Someone said, Mr. Cooper, you know everybody in Halifax County. And I said, I don't know whether through my years as a principal, whether through my years as a coach, we were very successful as a coach. But also, we were very successful with our schools, the education part of it. I used to brag, we were never, during my tenure as a principal, we were never classified as low performing. Not
Mm-hmm.
once, not twice, never. As a
Right.
basketball coach, as he said, I was coach of the year 14 different times, adding basketball with my tribe. The same thing with those schools. Give them that education jargon and opportunity. What an atmosphere that is conducive for learning. So
Right.
when you were at Enfield Middle School, people may have thought it was luck. But the first thing we did, I convinced the superintendent and the Board of Education to give us a tiller. We tilled all the way around that school, all the way around the back. We went to WRAL in Raleigh and begged for azaleas. We put azaleas, the staff, now we all the way around that school to beautify it because you get one chance to make a first impression, one chance. That's what our Board of Education has done, Dr. Wright. So what can you do? What can your experiences do? Well, the first thing, what we have done already at our two gyms, Northwest and Southeast, we have put new floors in them. We just completed that. Both high schools, we air conditioned the gyms this year right here. Why? So now we can hold our graduation at our own site and not have to go to the community college. We
Mm-hmm.
put new scoreboards at the football fields outside because many people come to your school, believe me not now. They may never get inside the building, but they sit out there on that football field and watch those games. We've got new uniforms. We want that Halifax pride. We've even changed our little motto. Our superintendent, Dr. Eric Cunningham, if you ever see him, he has it, put your 5 fingers up when you see Doc C. That motto is contagious
Yes, sir.
everywhere throughout this county. We're trying to make pride throughout. As I said, I know everybody, the commissioner, Michael Ray, our Representative Ray, they've given us money to do stuff. Dr. Wright, we back in the day, different administrations see things differently. We closed Eastman High School, where Eastman Middle School. We closed Brawley Middle School. That was a trend, and you know this back in the day, that was a trend that you can have those comprehensive high schools or those comprehensive middle schools. And the theory was that I can offer more advanced courses. I can do all of this or that. But what it did is that destroyed community. It
Yes, sir.
destroyed little small communities. What we've done now through talking and through lottery funds and through pleading and begging, we're in the process right now building, rebuilding Eastman Middle School, a brand new one
Oh,
in
wow.
that community.
Okay.
We are
Congratulations
yes,
on that, sir.
we're in the
Okay.
process now of redoing the efforts to do something new at the Scotland Neck community at Broadway. We've
Okay.
already sent the input, the enthusiasm that people have shown. These are the things that we have done. It's hard, and that's a question that I get all the time, even when I was a principal. One of the questions, even applying for jobs, how can you recruit and retain highly qualified teachers?
Yes,
You
sir.
know, in rural areas like Halifax County, that is a difficult job. It's hard to compete against Roanoke Rapids to look at the supplements that they can offer. But you know, in Littleton, one of our old schools, McAver, you know, we are redealing, doing the inside of that school and converting it into apartments so that teachers, potential teachers, will have somewhere they could stay. This is just a blast from the past. There used to be what they call a teacherage at the old Eastman High School. That's
Yes, sir.
something way back in the day that just disappeared as modernism took place. But in doing that, that's our way we think that we can attract more teachers. We're trying to grow our own, is the phrase that our superintendent uses. We're trying to grow our own. Let's get our principals and our teachers and stuff. Our former superintendent, Dr. Elise Frederick, was one of my teachers when I was principal at Enfield Middle School. One of the best teachers I've ever seen in my life. She
Amen.
left, became an assistant principal, then became a principal, and then what do you know? Then she was the superintendent of Halifax County Schools.
That's
We are
right.
trying to grow our own principals, our own teachers, our own coaches, and just give them that Halifax County experience. I've said a lot, Mr. Dr. Wright, but I hope you can see the enthusiasm. I have tried to make my enthusiasm grow on
Yes, sir.
every staff that I've had, on every board of education that I have worked with, to let them know, look, it's not how, it's not how we treat you treat me or you feel about me, but it's how you feel about children. If you love children, we're going to get along well. And to the listeners out there, if a person can show enthusiasm and they bring a little bit of God with them every day, our kids can be successful. But I told our superintendent, Dr. Wright, when he first came, I said, Dr. Cunningham, I want you to know this from an old man now. If you think that the test scores in Halifax County will ever compare to those in Chapel Hill, Carrboro, you're out your mind. I played basketball, ran track at Shaw University. I don't care who you put as the basketball coach at Shaw U. We are never gonna beat UNC Chapel Hill. Just ain't gonna happen. But I tell you what, we can take the ones that we have here and make them into the best you've
Yes,
ever had. Believe it or not, look at Judge Teresa Freeman, one of
yes, sir.
my former students from
Yes, sir.
Enfield Middle School. And it just goes on and on and on, Doc.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
just glad for the honor for people to hear. Dr. Cunningham uses this phrase to tell the Halifax story. And
Yes,
I
sir.
hope that your audience tonight will see that I've been trying to tell the Halifax story. We're not the best over here, the best over here, but we're the best Halifax County that we could possibly be.
Well, I love that because what you're illuminating for all of us is the reality of being in a rural district, but still making it work and making and you do have some amazing examples. Judge Freeman and I, of course, got an opportunity to work together. I remember her as a student, believe it or not, Mr. Cooper, when I was there as a
Oh,
sub.
wow.
And then,
Okay.
my time in Hertford County, North Carolina, I got the opportunity to interact with her, in some work that we did to try to get teen court in the area. And so um, we never know, as you said so well, we never know the impact that we're making when we're just trying to do and be the best we can be. That's
Yes, sir.
everlasting. Like you said, I remember seeing Miss Frederick. I call her Miss Dr. Frederick,
Yes,
of course,
yes, sir.
as a sixth grade teacher, and I'm teaching right beside her, trying to sub and
Yes, sir.
fill in the gap. And then we became colleagues when I first came to Hertford. She was still superintendent in Halifax County. So it is amazing over the career, and we appreciate your passion and your energy and all of this work that you've done. And that's why I really wanted to have you up here to during National School Board Member Appreciation Month to just talk about and appreciate your career. Let me ask you to do something for me if you don't mind.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's pretend that Mr. Cooper has the opportunity to give some advice to a brand new school board member. So this is somebody who has just got elected. They're in a new place. What are some advice points that you would give to that person?
I think the very first thing, Dr. Wright, would be to remind any individual that you are a part of the team. You're not the team, you're a
Okay.
part of the team. Taking something from my old days as a coach, you are not the wheel, you're a spoke on the wheel. You
Okay.
can pull one spoke off of a bicycle and wrap it around the other spokes, and the wheel will still turn. That's one reminder that I've always done with board members, even before I became a board member. And secondly, I would remind all of them that we already have a superintendent. We already have one. So if you thought that you were going to replace the superintendent, that's not going to happen either. Thirdly, if you take a district like Halifax County, we have 7 board members. To remind everyone who's running for a seat on the board, your vote, you have 1 vote. You don't have 7, you have 1. So to remind them that you have to put a little God in your heart and you have to be willing to compromise, but you have to be willing to all board members to put children first. Don't run for a board seat for a grudge against somebody that you have for many years back, but run for it for the betterment of that school district, to instill pride to that. So I would also say that. Then last but not least, and get as much knowledge about being a board member as you possibly can. Go to the conferences, go and learn all that you can. Be a sponge talking to other board members. Be a sponge. Learn parliamentary procedures. Get to know them. And after you do that, you'll find out, well, we're not enemies. We are on the same side. But I'd say to everybody that don't isolate yourself, to new board members, don't get to know the superintendent. Every superintendent that we've ever had in Halifax County, even before I ever got on the board, somehow or another, I became associated with them.
Mhm.
They come by, Mr. Cooper, can I borrow your truck? I need to go and get some Christmas gifts or get my Christmas tree. Or Mr. Cooper, can you come to my house? Would you wire I love electronics. Can you wire some speakers up in my living room? Those kind of things, just getting to know that individual and then share with them the enthusiasm that I'm trying to share your enthusiasm and your love. This is for old board members to the new board members, and they will be successful. I believe that, Dr. Wright. I do believe that.
So what do you believe? Thank you for that. That's so wise and sound advice. What do you believe is the maybe the one or two most important roles are the most important roles of a board member?
Well, first of all, reminding them of your duties,
Sure.
establishing policies and making sure that they're carried out. That's why I said, when you go to that school board training, go to it. I used to have a phrase when I was a principal, attend educational conferences or programs for educational purposes.
Yes, sir.
You're not going there to the national conference because you're going to ride. You're going to the beach. You're going there to learn. And then the other one, remind them our purpose then to evaluate your school district, your performances. Take that test data. Don't let it just come out in the newspaper. Be a sponge. Find out the test data, do comparative analysis. Well, this school was at so and so and so, this one was at, but then be able to make educated decisions. You know, be able to look at it and say, well, this school, the growth may not have been whatever we wanted, but they may not have been quote unquote an A+ school. But look, maybe their developmental scale scores rose 100 points and be able to do that, make educated professional decisions. So that's what I still do now. I'm a PowerPoint nut. So I do a lot of presentation to our board to let them see, take that data and break it down. And yeah, we have people that the system has hired to do that. Every system has a testing coordinator and all that stuff. But I think it's more effective to board members if it comes from another board member. Well, they
Right.
said, well, look, he's one of us. He's not dictating down to us. He's talking parallel to us. I think it's important, very important.
Outstanding, outstanding. What amazing advice, and I appreciate that, and I know that our listeners will benefit from that wisdom. That's why I wanted you up here so bad on this show. Mr. Cooper, we went through a lot these last couple of years with COVID and the pandemic and trying to recover from it and so forth. What are some things that you see maybe that we learned from the pandemic that are going to help us in the future of education, in your opinion?
I think one of the main ones, I'm close to our superintendent, though I'm not the board chair now. I'm close to him, and we can really talk.
Yes, sir.
We can talk hard, cold facts. One
Right.
thing that this pandemic showed us and showed this nation, it showed the importance of a real teacher.
Yes, sir.
This pandemic showed you what face-to-face instruction will really do.
Yes, sir.
As a basketball coach, I can tell you to look at this film for 25 hours. But when I take you into the gym, nothing beats me taking you to the gym and showing you the form, the follow through, the release. I have to show you that. So what I'm saying is what we learn, virtual learning is okay, but
Right.
virtual learning does not replace your teacher.
Yes, sir.
Second thing that I think that we got out of that is it showed, all of it still ties back though to the importance of that teacher, is that even when we finally started to release the data, we found out that there was a decrease nationwide in student learning.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them goes back to rural places like me. My internet connection is by satellite. A couple of our schools is like that by satellite. And what we found is that the school, the internet is fast, but at the homes, many of them couldn't log in to some of the sites.
Right.
Even with buying the Chromebooks and all of the funds that were available, we find that that didn't answer. So putting it all together, we found that that face-to-face real teacher instruction, what we found is that you can't replace it, Dr. Wright. And so what did I learn out of that? We did a lot of virtual. I learned a lot of things myself. I've learned to do it. Zoom is all right. Zoom is tough. Zoom doesn't replace face-to-face meetings. And
Sir.
I think that for rural areas, that shows.
Yes,
That
sir.
shows. But we have found this. We found this as we disaggregate our data and play with it. We found this. Putting them back in the classroom just at the end of last year to the beginning of this, we found that our students did grow. The
Yes,
growth
sir.
came back after we put them back into the building. That's what we found out.
So you talked about that teacher and the importance of having that teacher in the classroom, yet we're facing this tremendous teacher shortage. And you touched on it a little bit earlier, but 53 years ago, I think I heard you say when you got an education, and for me, believe it or not, Mr. Cooper, this is year 25 full time for me. Can you believe that? But
Wow.
when both of us started full time, teaching was attractive. It wasn't. And nowadays it's difficult for us to get people to go into the profession. So what ideas do you have about us just kind of recharging the profession? What do we need to do differently?
Going to be difficult, but
Yes, sir.
you got to give that praise.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to go back and use one of my old sports analogies, and I'm going to go back to teaching. I had a basketball team one year that I thought was the worst group of players I ever had. But every day, Dr. Wright, I told those girls that they were the best team I ever coached. I told them that the first day from practice, not even withstanding the fact that I had lost everybody the year before.
Right.
I put that in their mind to the point that at the end of the year, that team had the best record. We won 20 games and lost 2. We were Roanoke River Conference champs. I was again the coach of the year. So what did I say to say that you have to put that same kind of motivation into your teachers? You
Yes,
have
sir.
to bring them in. Sure, listen. I go back to Shaw U. We're not gonna get a Wilt Chamberlain at Shaw U, and we're not gonna get a Michael Jordan. But I tell you what, Dr. Wright, we're gonna get the best Bobby Moore that
Right.
you ever seen. Bobby Moore was played with me back at Shaw U, Pat Moore. So it goes out, what are we gonna do to the teachers with the legislators? And we're close. We talked to Representative Ray. Our superintendent spends a lot of time in Raleigh. I told him, I said, Doc, I'm an old man. You would do us far better. Go up there where the big folk are. Hang around them. Go to the golf courses where you're out there playing. Look, we would take care of this other stuff. So we your assistant superintendent and everybody, so that you can tell our story. And this is how, when we talk to them, this is how we were able to pull off that grant. People thought you couldn't do it. $40-some million that we're gonna try to do that new Eastman school. So
Yes, sir.
you have to do this. The legislators, the salaries is not competitive. I think I haven't. They're not competitive. I have 3 kids who are college grads, and I couldn't pour water on them to make them become teachers or become educators. The salaries are not competitive.
Right.
We must pay them, and we do that here. We compensate. We compensate probably far more than some others because we're competing. It's 3 school districts in this one county.
Yes,
So
sir.
for one potential, we're competing against Weldon and Roanoke Rapids. So we have to make a comparable. That's why we're trying to do that facility in Littleton, just to have somewhere to attract them where you can stay if you come here. We
Yes, sir.
we we beat the bucket to get them here. We got a lot of those. We got a lot of teachers from the Philippines. Our superintendent, he has flown um, down to the islands, and we have many teachers. I retired in 2009, and I had 5 of my teachers from the Philippines. They
Yes,
were
sir.
awesome. There was
Yes,
a language barrier, but they were awesome teachers. So You have to do that. You have to take what you have, but you got to sell that to teachers. You got to sell it to them and
Yes, sir.
present to them what they can get out of that. And I'm tickled out of it, Dr. Wright. I really am. You have to. I am. Not easy now. Mind me, it's not easy.
Right. That's exactly right. But we're in the marketing business. We have to market our profession and make it attractive. And absolutely. Thank you for that.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
so Mr.
Thank
Cooper, is there anything else that I have not talked about that you would like to share with our audience at this time?
Right now, just the opportunity. No.
Okay. All right.
In our district, I created a lot of stuff during my time as the chair, but one of them, I'm the chairperson of our PR committee.
Yes, sir.
And let me tell you, and being the chairman of that, we're gonna sell Halifax County Schools, and most districts are doing that now. But I'm a computer nut, so you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Every way that there is, if you ride through Halifax County, we have put billboards. There's so many of them throughout this county, and every one of them, I'm a photography nut. I used to do weddings and class reunions. You'll see pictures that I have put out here throughout the county, and now we have a young man, Darian Presley, who beats me. He's 25, and I won't say how much difference is in age, but we've put them out there and just share with everybody. When you ride through, you'll see what I'm. If you ride through Halifax County from one end to the other, and it's one of the longest distances in the world, you'll find that we're trying to showcase what it is that we do, and we're not trying to compare with Chapel Hill or Wake County. We're trying to compare Halifax County with Halifax County. So that's for the audience out there. You got to sell that. You got to say. You got to take the parents' old education thing. They send the best that they have to school. I'm just sorry. That's the best that they have. Now we as educators, we as board members, we as a community have to take what mom and dad sent us and mold it into somebody who is ready for the 21st century. We have to do that. That has to be your goal. You can't be selfish. So I tell the audience that I'm not selfish. My goal is children. Education is my business, though. My only business.
Yes, sir.
I would leave you right there. Yes, sir.
All right. So, Mr. Cooper, if you hold on for me for just a minute, we'll come back and close out the show.
Thank you, sir.
To the Wright Experience audience, I know indeed you have enjoyed getting an opportunity to know Mr. Cooper better. As you can see, his passion for doing the business of education is second to none. He's been doing this work for over half a century now and has done that work at an excellent level. He is passionate about his craft and making sure that the children of Halifax County get the very best education that that county can offer to them. As you can see, as a board member, he is extremely supportive of the superintendent of schools, and I would encourage all board members to make sure that you are supporting those leaders that are out there trying to do that work every day. The superintendency, as well as board positions, have gotten immensely tougher over the years, and that work has to be done in collective unison. And so I'm just appreciative that we had the opportunity to spend this time with Mr. Cooper, getting to know from his perspective a little bit more about good leadership and making sure that we give children the best opportunity they can have to be successful. And I know that you're proud of that work, Mr. Cooper, that's being done. That new Eastman School is coming up. I know that's a crown and jewel moment. As you know, over in Hertford County, in August of 2021, we built and opened a new Hosky Elementary School and used some of those same state funds that you're talking about. And it just changes the lives of communities when you're able to get those new facilities up. So I know you all are proud of that work. And again, publicly, I just want to say thank you to you because way back yonder, you were setting that good example for me. And I had no idea at that point that I would ever be an educator. But here I am, and I owe a lot of that just modeling of what you're supposed to do for children to you and your leadership. So thank you for that, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wright. Thank you. You're
And to the
blessed.
Wright
Thank you,
Experience,
sir.
thank you for watching, and good evening.